Hi there, my name is Sassy and I'm sitting here together with Scott Phillips from Alter Bridge. How are you doing?
Good, I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Welcome back to Berlin. It's really a great pleasure for me to be here together with you. Are you looking forward to the show?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is, I don't know how many times we've played Berlin now, a bunch. And it's always a great rock crowd for us. Certainly a place that we look forward to playing. This is the second time we played this venue. I think the last time we were here was in 2008. And tonight is sold out, so we're certainly excited about that. And just looking forward to a fun show.
Great, nice. And what would you say was a special moment on this tour so far?
There's been a few. There's been, of all the shows that we've done, I guess we're probably in our third week, coming up on our fourth week of being over here in Europe, and we've had some great crowds in different countries, some big venues, small venues. I can't think of one that particularly stands out over the others. We did a show in Dortmund for Rock Palast, the TV channel, station, whatever you want to call it, which was a really fun show, a really big crowd and very energetic, and that's certainly been a highlight so far. But all the shows have been really good. We had one that we had to cancel, a smaller show in Denmark. Miles was a little bit under the weather and needed to rest his voice for a couple of days. But other than that one moment, everything's really been phenomenal.
Now he's okay for the show tonight?
Yes, now he's okay.
Great. I think the people will be really happy about.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. And how would you describe the music of Alter Bridge?
Heavier rock. I mean, some of it borderlines on metal. Some of it is we've got a few ballads that are very sort of soft, acoustic, emotional type songs. I think we're just a sort of run the range of all different types of rock and roll. But I would tend to say, if I had to describe it as one specific genre, probably hard rock.
And I find the lyrics in AB3 are really different to Blackbird and One Day Remains. Where does this change come from?
I think it might have just been sort of the headspace that Miles was in when we wrote AB3. With One Day Remains, it was a collaborative effort between Mark and Miles on the lyrics. Mark had written a lot of lyrics for some of the songs before we even met Miles. So there were sort of different topics once Miles came in and sort of, feeling his way through the band. They collaborated on a lot of stuff. By the time that we got to Blackbird, Miles had really solidified himself as a writer and frontman, and really took over the lyrical reign. So Blackbird, a lot of that was sort of about persevering through struggles, which was a lot of what the band was going through at the time. We were switching labels and switching management companies, and trying to strive for greatness through a lot of adversity. And I think that's sort of the bulk of what Blackbird talks about. I mean, there's obviously different songs. There's Blackbird itself is a song about a friend of Miles' that passed away. Different topics on that record. Obviously, Watch Over You is a song about leaving behind somebody with an addictive personality. with AB3, it seems to really dwell on sort of finding out that something you thought to be an absolute truth isn't true, or you start to have doubts whether it's true or not. And there are a lot of songs that sort of deal with that, looking at it from different perspectives from each song, but that tends to be the common theme that runs throughout the record. And it's a much darker record, I think. I think it's lyrically, it's great. I think he did a fantastic job on it, but it's a bit of a departure from Blackbird.
Yeah. And which song do you like most, and why?
On this new record, I think my favorite song is called Words Darker Than Their Wings. It's the last song on the album, sort of a longer song, 6 or 7 minutes long, kind of an epic sort of journey, with both Miles and Mark singing. It's sort of almost a duet, kind of, if you will, in the verses, and just lyrically, it kind of talks about what we were discussing, sort of, not knowing what to believe and trying to choose your path. But I think the emotion of the song is probably what really resonates with me the most. I remember the first time Mark started playing the verse for it, I was like, that's going to be my favorite. But, even before I knew it was going to be a song or what it was going to end up sounding like, it was certainly a song that I was drawn to right off right from the start.
So I've heard you are involved in various projects. Could you tell me a bit about them, please?
For me, I guess sort of for the band, everybody's kind of involved in different things. For Brian and myself, it's right now we're balancing between working with Alter Bridge and Creed. We've started up Creed again back in 2009 and put out a record called Full Circle, and did a couple tours to follow that up. This next year we're going to be doing some new material and several tours throughout the U.S. and hopefully throughout the rest of the world. We haven't decided, although it's not completely up to us, we haven't discussed exactly where we're going to end up touring next year. But Miles is between Alter Bridge. He has a solo record that is somewhat unfinished, but will probably come out at some point. And then, of course, for the last few years now, he's been diligently working with Slash, between singing a couple songs on Slash's previous record and then singing for the entire tour. Now he and Slash are collaborating together on a new record that should be coming out probably in the spring, and they'll be touring for the bulk of next year. So Miles will be with Slash, we'll be with Creed. Mark obviously will be with us in Creed, and then Mark also has a solo record that he's going to try and put out probably sometime in January, February, March. I think originally he was shooting for the beginning of the year, and I'm not sure if they're going to meet that deadline or not. But the Mark's record, I've heard a lot of it. It's a great record. Parts of it are very heavy, very metal, and then some of it, of course, is very melodic as well. So everybody's kind of got their hands in different pies. I don't think we intentionally set out, we didn't start Alter Bridge in order to jump into a bunch of different projects, but that's just sort of what fate has led us to at this point. Alter Bridge is, I think, still certainly priority number one for everybody, and very near and dear to our hearts.
Really nice. And I understand that you taught yourself to play drums.
Yeah.
What did inspire you?
I think music was always a big part of my household, my upbringing, and I wanted a drum set for Christmas, and I wanted an electric guitar for Christmas when I was a little kid, and I got neither one of them. I got piano lessons instead, but I think probably about the time that I really took an interest in music was about the same time MTV came out, which actually played videos that had musicians in the videos, which doesn't seem to happen anymore. But I always just focus on the drummer. That was somebody that I was drawn to. Maybe it was the coordination factor of how do you make 4 different limbs do 4 different things at the same time. Probably the Van Halen Jump video, which was off their 1984 record. The video for that had this massive drum set that I was just mesmerized by, and I think that was probably one of the first things that really drew me to want to play the drums. I started playing when I was 18. I started playing kind of late, and at the time was really into a couple of different bands. Living Colour was a big influence on me. Their drummer Will Calhoun was a major influence. Matt Cameron from Soundgarden was another. Danny Carey from Tool. Those are probably the 3 that I really kind of gravitated towards when I first started playing, and then after that sort of discovered classic rock and John Bonham and Keith Moon and all these other great legendary drummers from years past. I don't know, I guess drums was, of all the instruments that I kind of picked up and played and sort of went through through my childhood, the drums was the one that I really took the greatest fondness to, and just decided to pursue that for as long as I could.
And when you go on tour, what do you most look forward to?
Days off. No, I'm kidding. Just great crowds. We've got to meet a lot of people over the years. I have made friends with a lot of people over here over the years that are coming from show to show to show, and the crowds here are just amazing. It's hard to describe how great the reaction is for us here, and really enjoy the hour and 30, hour and 45 minutes that we're on stage every night, getting to interact with all these people that have kind of grown as we've grown. That's probably one of the greatest parts about touring here. And
what do you enjoy more, the road or the studio?
They're kind of different. I enjoy both. The studio is writing and recording. It's very tedious. Can be very frustrating at times when you're pursuing a song that just isn't quite coming together as quickly as you hope that it would. And then the recording process can be tedious and long hours as well, but the finished product is certainly greater than whatever struggles you go through while creating it. Then hitting the road, you get a chance to show everybody else what you've been working on so hard for the last few months or 6 months or a year or whatever it takes. Touring now, we're all married. We've all got, Mark and I both have families. Touring has become tougher because of that, but with technology getting better between Skype and FaceTime and all these other interactive devices, it's a lot easier to feel like you're at home and spend time with your family, even though you're not there with them. At least you can see them and talk to them every day. But I enjoy both. Between touring and recording, it's both a labor of love.
And which ideas in the studio come from you?
Which bar we're going to go to once we get done with the studio? Kidding. I think for me, I sort of sit back and look at ideas that Mark and Miles have come up with as a producer would, and say, this is cool, I'm not digging this. What if we do this twice as long? What if we do that half as long? Mark's got a million different ideas, and he and I have worked together for long enough now that I can just say, I don't like that, I do like that, I don't like that, and he's receptive to what I'm saying. Lyrically, I keep my hands off of that. That's all Miles. I don't want to, unless I come up with something for a song, I don't want to say what he should or shouldn't write about or sing about. and he's got a great melodic sense. Both he and Mark have a great melodic sense. So I kind of keep my hands off the vocals, but musically, I think the arrangement process. I think, now with working with Miles for the last 7 years, I feel like both Brian and I have become a good filter for them to bounce ideas off of us. And if we like it, then we work on it. If we don't, then they'll kind of shelve it.
And what music do you listening to when you're alone?
I listen to a lot of everything. Rock-wise, we're good friends with the guys from a band called Seven Dust from the U.S., who are starting to come to Europe more and more. We've known those guys for a very long time, but I still am a big fan of their music and still like listening to that. There's a band from Australia called Carnival that I've recently gotten into over the last couple of years. And then from there, I'll listen to anything, Deadmau5, which is sort of like a techno kind of a thing. My daughter is 8 years old, so anytime I'm around her, I have to listen to like Katy Perry and Rihanna and Lady Gaga and whatever else happens to be on the U.S. top 40 stations, and have found an appreciation for a lot of that music. I mean, it's all good songwriting, whether you're a fan of the person or not. I think, or I should say most of it's good songwriting. I haven't quite gotten into country music yet. That's the last frontier, but I have an appreciation for it too. I have a wide musical taste. My father and mom were both like that as well. They listened to a lot of different stuff, and I think that kind of influenced me and my taste in music.
And what happens after the tour for you?
After this tour, we'll be home for all of December and January to catch up with our families and spend the holidays with them. In late February, as Alter Bridge, we're headed to Australia to do the Soundwave Revolution tour, which is 5 or 6 shows, maybe 7 shows across Australia, with a lot of great bands. I believe Marilyn Manson's on there. I heard Slipknot was on there, but I'm not sure if that's true. I'd have to look at the roster, but everybody that I've heard, it should be a really good show. We'll finish that up in early March, and then from there, Miles will go out with Slash, we'll go out with Creed, and then reconvene somewhere in 2013, I guess, to finish up a new Alter Bridge record and then start touring after that.
So then it's something to look forward to.
Definitely.
I wish you very much fun. And thanks for your time, and above all, thank you for your music. It's an inspiration. I'm really looking forward to watching the concert.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.